Good evening and welcome back to Prime of Midlife. It is Tuesday evening. It is mid-October almost. And this evening I am talking about changes in the way we're doing things just now. Um, Basically because I noticed recently that the office I work in, there's only three of us, but we all bring our own lunches from home. And my previous office, excuse me, there was only four of us, but we all brought our lunches from home. And the building I'm in at the moment it's a business centre, so there's a lot of offices and shared kitchens and such. And there's a lot of people reheating stuff they brought from home. And I was thinking to myself, I remembered when I first started at my previous job, and once or twice a week, one of us would go up to the shops, to the local bakery or local cafe and get stuff for everybody. And gradually that just kind of slowed down and we stopped doing that. Pretty much as soon as the cost of living crisis hit, sort of thing. But reading recently that Morrison's is closing all its cafes, I'm presuming because they're not cost effective. And there's other companies, other food companies that are closing branches as well, and other supermarket cafes. And I was like, okay, it looks as if there's a noticeable amount of people not using those facilities anymore. So not eating out, not having their breakfast or their lunch in the cafes. Because most of them are daytime stuff. So it then got me thinking, going, how much has stuff changed? Don't get me wrong, I don't think Greggs is closing anytime soon. But also, I think a lot of it depends on where you live. If you're in a city or a large town and you're walking past a Greggs or a Costa or such, then it's quite tempting to, especially if you're rushing in the morning, to be like, right, I'll just go and get that. But if you're like me, quite rural, so you're driving to work, you're not stopping on the way, you're not going in the centre of town, then it's not quite such a simple thing. But I'm thinking that possibly it's not just the rural now. I think more people are starting to look at what it's costing them. And they're not getting the coffees that cost £4 or £5 a time. I mean, I went into Greggs because every so often we will treat ourselves. Our thing is Belgian buns. And sometimes, like tomorrow, I will be going into Tesco's to get croissants because we are really, really busy and we barely lifted our head today. So we agreed when I take my jars to the recycling at the Tesco car park tomorrow that I may just have to stop at the cake counter on the way. And we sometimes get Belgian buns, but because Tesco has the freshly baked croissants and the boss really likes them, we might just have croissants. Because there's no half day tomorrow because my colleague's on holiday. So that is something that happens, we will buy, but that's something that happens like once every 2 to 3 weeks, not every twice a week, once a week that it used to in my previous job. And I have to admit, when I was in Greggs the last time, I was looking because it was quite a warm day and I was like, oh, I could get some juice. I'll get some juice. And I looked at the little bottle of Iron Brew obviously Scotland's national drink. I'm Scottish, Irn-Bru. And it's one of the, you know, the ones you get, not little teeny weeny ones, the sort of normal ones that you would have called a small bottle a few years ago. It was £1.89 for a bottle of juice. That's not even a proper bottle. It's a snack bottle. I was speechless, and immediately came back to the office going, "Oh my goodness, did you know that was £1.89?" So, looking at the cost of it, I was like, how can people afford this? And obviously they get paid more than me, but that's a hefty amount to be spending every day. So I'm presuming a lot of people are not spending that every day. And as I say, because of the closures that are hitting just now and have been hitting for the last couple of years, I'm presuming there's a lot of people who are now not buying lunch from shops, but taking their own in. And of course, once I started thinking on that, I was like, takeaways. When did we last have a takeaway? And I'm just trying to think now when we last had a takeaway. I don't remember. I haven't had a takeaway in probably over a month now. Because normally what Kathleen and I will do, if we're doing takeaway, we will get like 1.5 to share. So we'll probably get like chicken fried rice with one of the large spring rolls, and we'll split that between us. Not chicken fried rice, sweet and sour chicken. So you've got the rice, you've got the chicken balls, the sweet and sour sauce, and then we have half a spring roll each, because it's the very, very large spring rolls. I don't remember the last time we did that. And when I think about it, going back probably a couple of years, or even when Kathleen first moved back, so yeah, about just over a year ago, 18 months probably, we used to get quite a few takeaways. But it went from being like £10-12-ish to now you're talking £15 to £18. And that's not sustainable. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not £15 to £18 for the shared meal. But if we get one each, you're definitely talking that sort of money. Or even if you get, like, if we got a fish supper each, that's definitely in the £15 odd, if not more, £15 to £20 mark. And it's just something that's disappeared from our weekly, monthly budget. We just don't do that anymore. And again, I'm thinking, how many other people have done that? Obviously not as many as lunchtimes, because there's still like takeaways popping up on streets everywhere. But as I say, at lunch it is definitely noticeable, especially because where the business centre is, there's a Tesco's, there's a Greggs, but there's still a lot of people bring their lunch in. So yeah, that's my thought for today, is I have noticed that. And I've noticed that with us, and I've noticed that with the people I work with. So yeah, have you noticed that recently? If you look back over the last year or couple of years, have you stopped buying as much stuff, especially snacks, takeaways, you know, takeaway coffees, lunches, bottles of juice at £1.89? Shocked and shooketh I was. Anyway, I will leave you with that thought, and I will go get my cup of tea, and I will catch you later.